Hi YouTube, this is Scott Sega Saturn Lad back with the second episode in my Neo Geo Pocket overview. Now in this episode I will be conducting a general overview of this game, and the game that you see in front of you is Match of the Millennium, SNK versus Capcom. Now this game is generally seen as, you would say, one of the reasons to really buy the system. It was launched back in 2001. Really a very, very late release on the system, and it was generally, I think this was the last beat 'em up actually launched on the system. Now effectively this is just a mashup, like its bigger brother version on the AES, of SNK versus Capcom. It was developed by SNK, and it is effectively not a port of the original SNK versus Capcom. It is a standalone game, much like a sort of miniature version of it, really. So there are, numerous things to do, numerous characters to unlock, lots and lots of replayability, numerous characters from both Capcom's fighting series and also SNK. And like I said, this is just going to be a general overview of the game itself. So I think first of all, the artwork is superb. The only thing I'm not too sure about it is the size of Ryu's feet. I think the feet to head ratio is quite slightly out there. I do always find it amusing. Obviously, different artists have always drawn Ryu, and he goes from one extreme, quite baby-faced and alpha, to quite a an evil-looking sort of bastard in Street Fighter 3. But yeah, just keeping it back on track with the game in question. So again, just the general overview, bit of artwork, and so you got Ryu there in the front, Kyo, Terry, Ori, Chun-Li, Zangief, Morrigan. 32 megs of RAM, which is quite impressive considering this is a handheld game. Match of the Millennium. Again, don't know why they just didn't call it SNK versus Capcom, really. Grabs the attention so much more. It does have SNK versus Capcom on there, but it literally is just down the bottom there. So you can barely see it, but yeah. So, back of it. So in this battle, the mightiest brawler is crowned. So the time to settle the score. 18 of SNK and Capcom's most popular characters collide in the pivotal battle in gaming history. Truly a match of the millennium. Thrill to 3 battle formats. Single tag team. Select from 3 battle types to suit your playing preferences. Can choose versus mode battles and exchange various data. Of course, jump into new SC Olympic mode and strive to break all records. So effectively, you've got the tag system that SNK have generally always had with their fighters, and obviously what later Capcom fighters have had as well, where you can have the team potential, the team, I don't know, set up, various characters. So it's implemented in this game as well. And like I said, you can see from the gaps here, there's quite a few various secret characters. I think it's 6 secret characters to unlock on each side. So I think there's obviously 32 characters all in all that you can unlock. Okay, so we'll just open it up. So I should also give a bit of a shout out to the actual game cases. And, they are fantastic. They're effectively just miniature versions of AES cases. They are extremely sturdy. They literally are. It's built like a brick. The the quality of the plastic is fantastic. It's a real solid piece of hardware, I guess. But it's really gonna stead you good stead in time. And it's all the little detail, like the dimples here, the SNK branding there, just sort of sets it apart from your your usual sort of retro gaming. So there's the manual and game. Obviously, games come in this sort of plastic wallet, I'd guess you say, just to protect it, similar to Game Gear and early Game Boy games. Not so much with the Color and Advance. Now, sometimes with the Pockets, Neo Geo Pockets manuals, certainly for Europe, you would find that you'd have multiple smaller manuals, depending on of various languages. With this one, it literally is just all in English. Don't really quite know what that is. That would be the receipt. I bought this on eBay a couple of years ago. So this gentleman played Games Exchange, £30. Can't really quite see that, but yeah, £30. It generally goes for a bit more than that now, the value, but I will speak about that in the end. So full colour manual, good quality paper. It's a nice and simple joystick, A button, B button. Effectively, you've just got punch and kick. Like I said, it's a very, very simplified button sort of combination. The way that you can sort of differentiate between hard and light punches is you keep your finger slightly longer down on the button for a harder attack, and you just quickly tap it for a light attack. It sounds a bit confusing, but it does actually work quite well. So it's kind of like a pressure sensitive sort of thing going on, though it's not quite. So you can clearly see that it's just a complete they haven't actually taken the time to sort of use the PAL or the European menus, because as you can see it's Japanese, so that's quite cool. But obviously gameplay there. So that looks like a Darkstalker stage. I think that screenshot gives you a good idea of the colours when they're all up and running. I think it's difficult to convey the sort of animation as well of the characters. Whilst they might look simplified with a lack of colours, the actual animation is far superior to sort of 16-bit systems that I've found. When you compare it to, say, Street Fighter on the SNES or Mega Drive, the animation, there's far more frames of animation in these, and I think that's really down to the sort of simple look of the sort of characters, really. So you just get sort of moves, move list, power gauges. So is it tournament? Getting into the Olympics. So a few little mini games. Target 9, which is like obviously some sort of shooting. Blade Art, Ghost Trick. It's an event for Capcom team members wherein you become Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins and gather treasure while avoiding gargoyle. Jump onto the floating islands footholds and move to gather treasure. That's pretty cool. Catwalk. So again, lots of sort of hidden bits that you can sort of take up and get on with. Nice little artwork there. I would also say as well, this is could have missed that out. This game can be linked up to the Dreamcast as well. If you got a copy of obviously Capcom versus SNK on the Dreamcast, you can link it up, and also Card Fighters Clash for, I think you can download various sort of like extra data or your high scores or something. But I don't think the actual official cable was ever launched in Europe, so it is kind of redundant, really. It does say a scheduled release of Capcom exclusive for the Sega Dreamcast. Exchange data with King of Fighters link. So again, you can obviously link it up to obviously King of Fighters on the Dreamcast as well, which again wasn't launched in Europe. So you can see they haven't really regionalised it hugely. So this is the SNK side. So Kyoteri, Ori, Ryu Mai, Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, blah blah blah, the usual. Dan, I don't know why Capcom bother with him. He's a terrible character. So that gives you, and obviously the obligatory notes that seem to always pop up in sort of old school games. So yeah, that's a general overview of it. So I think I'm going to stop the video there and try and get some gameplay footage of it now. Thanks guys. Hi guys, this is me just returning with hopefully some gameplay footage of Match of the Millennium, SNK versus Capcom. So obviously this is running on a modded Xbox, simply because the gameplay footage on the Neo Geo Pocket doesn't really do it justice. So hopefully this is a better representation of how it looks. So there's the various options. There's no speech on it like a usual fighting game. So I always think that this system is kind of somewhere between a Game Boy Advance and a Game Boy Color. You know, it's far more in excess of a Game Boy Color, but not really quite the same level as a Game Boy Advance. I think sound-wise, it's kind of, again, it's got an 8-bit sound to it, but it's obviously, I think it's better than a SNES or Master System in terms of sound. No, I think it's probably on par with the Master System, I reckon. No one's stronger than me for. This is just like a sort of story that you would probably get. I think you could tell the problem with the localization there. I think I just caught that, the background description, but it said England, Scottish castle. I'm sure the Scottish tubers are spitting feathers right now. I think you see what I mean by the animation. Winner, you gotta want it. Right, so I am going to leave it there. Hopefully that gives you a good overview of the system, the sort of graphics, the capabilities of it, the vividness of the colours. So yeah, hopefully, you know, this would maybe make someone to maybe consider a Neo Geo Pocket. This is a great little system to collect for. Some fantastic games as well. I was also just going to say in the sort of where I was given an overview of the game itself, value-wise, this potentially can go up to about £50. I think I paid £39 for this on eBay a couple of years ago. Like anything, it's difficult to judge the value of things when you're not really looking at them. But I think the average tends to be between £30 and £45. If you get it for less than 30, then you've done extremely well. You can just get the cart for probably £15, £20, but you know, I think with something like this, it's nice to have the full box to set up, really. Right, so I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and take care of yourself.